Hello and welcome to Conversations Need to Be Had. I am your host Chantel Gabriella Jazz, and I am joined by StickyDub.
Conversations need to be had. Now I'm gassed. Now you've just gassed me. Now you've done the intro, like I've just got gassed. Alright, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure.
Same here. So I'm just going to hit you with it. I'm going to start this conversation off with what inspired you to become the amazing artist that you are?
Wow. I would say that I've always been that person. It was just a learning process to learn that I was that. I can't remember a moment of like becoming who I am. You know, it's more of a learning. So it wasn't even inspiration. It was just knowledge of self to become who I am. You know. So I can only give me gratitude to like the source for supplying me with what I'm supplied with, innit?
Abundance of creativity, man. Because when I said artist, I was talking about, because you're a musician, that's how I met you. Like, I met you through the music scene. So I was kind of speaking like from that perspective, like, how did music fall into your life? Like, how did you get into it?
Well, you know what? Actually, I got into music through dance.
Okay.
Like, obviously, we met in London. And I come to London to go to uni to study, like, dance, contemporary dance and ballet. And I was studying at Laban, just not far from you, man, in Deptford. And one side of the uni is dance and the other side's music. And I started holding jams at my house just to, like, get to know people. And obviously, I loved music. And then I just started getting involved in the jams, and we would record them, and I'd be listening to them back like, easy now. And then, things just arrived. Like I found 2 turntables in an alleyway in New Cross on the floor.
What? On the floor?
On the floor, girl. And I was like, rah. So
man's lucky,
took them, and then like everything just sort of lined up. It was a path that was guided and supported, and I really felt supported by the world going down that path. And I ended up stopping going to uni, and then the music just took me, man. And I think music's like one of them things, like it doesn't never stop. It's a constant process. Like it's a constant learning. You never reach.
Never reach the peak.
Yeah, man. You don't never reach the peak, man. It's a constant delving into. For me, anyway. It's a constant. It's for me, like being a musician is committing to constantly progressing or constantly digging deeper into your craft. I think that's the state of being a musician. Like that's all it is for me. It's not about how many tunes you sell or what your streams are. It's just a active digging into the earth of music. Active exploration. That's all.
And being able to express yourself in multiple ways using those frequencies. Like I can definitely relate to what you said. You have to have that kind of determination to keep going deeper and deeper into it to really discover what you can do, because sometimes you can just give up, especially if you've got a mentality of like, I just want a hit single and all of that, you just, when it gets hard, you'll just be like, nah, I can't be asked now. But, sometimes you just have to play around and discover really what is your thing. And if you don't do it for the love, then I don't know why you're doing it. You get what I mean?
Trust. honestly, I think now, like, that music is one of the highest, like, things to do, because, like, the world is sound, and in the beginning was a word. Music, when anytime I get stressed out about the world and the state of it and how I can help, like, music is the best way to communicate something to people of any creed, color, like, place in the world, language. You can reach people in their bedrooms. You can make something in your bedroom and, like, communicate something to someone in an ex bedroom.
You know what? I was watching Erica Badu and Jill Scott in my bedroom, and I just couldn't believe. I was like, "Rah, is this really 2020 that I'm watching these two phenomenal beings have a sound clash on my phone in my house?" I was just like, "No, this is insane." But yeah, it's just crazy how accessible it is now, and how impactful, you know, it is. It's always been a necessity. Always been a necessity for all of us, you know.
It's timeless as well. Like, you can capture a feeling in a capsule. You can capture it. You can record that and keep that, and it now is infinite. Yeah, I mean, when you record the music, you capture that vibe, and then you can package that, put that there, and then that exists forever. It's like God. It's God stuff.
It really is. It really is God stuff. But unfortunately, you know, it then became a music industry, and I like as soon as it became a music industry, it's like it kind of lost the real essence of what it is, because it's a sacred thing, you know. Like, it can heal people. It can, like you say, it captures a moment, and then it can be passed on. So it's so important to know what you've, you know, put in that capsule and what you're going to be giving people, because it could either be medicine or poison, you know? So, yeah. So what's going on with New Tribe at the moment? What's the vibe?
Oh, so we just released that new track like a month ago, and we are currently recording about 3-4 more tunes that we're going to be putting out. We want to basically release our project in just before summer, in spring, just before festival season.
Amazing.
And just try and tour there. Yeah, man, New Tribe's been like an amazing learning curve. You know, being in a group with 3 very certain people. Like, we've been through so much, you know, together. People's lives, you know, in different, people's living their own lives, you know, but we share this thing that we're keeping alive. It's been a big learning process of how to manage ourselves within this society and within the music industry, and relationship to the music industry, and how much it's balancing how much to give to the music industry and how much not to give. Finding that balance, because sometimes the music industry's mash up, man. Like, there's certain boxes that you can just tick, and if you tick them boxes, you can blow. But it's about like knowing how many boxes to tick without losing your integrity.
That's the key
But
thing.
enough boxes that you will actually elevate, you know?
It's like you have to be quite strategic with it.
Oh, man. So strategic. So strategic. And I find difficulty with that, man. But it's only currently that I've made peace with that. In the same breath, I've made peace with money. Like, before that, like, I was so against money. And like,
what do you mean you were so against money?
Like, I thought that money was the evil of the world, and that we would be better without it. And I did not want to be money centered.
Yeah.
And I did not want to think about money and manifest my life around money. I was against that, and in the same way, relating to the music, the industry and that I was just anti. But now I've learned otherwise, and that money is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy of earth, and it's a native energy. And I'm developing a relationship now, in hopes that we can find abundance together.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed, because it does get confused because of what people do with it. You know, it is a form of exchange. You know, an energy. But it's just what people seem to do with it. You know, when they have lots of it, they seem to just lose their integrity, lose their sense of reasoning, because they have so much access and the status that they have with it. So I think, you know, it's good that you've gone through the journey that you've gone through already. So when you do become abundant in that, you will know how to deal with that and to stay grounded. Because it's so important, you know.
No, 100, man. I think there's many people out there with no self-worth, but with lots of self-finance.
Woo!
And when you don't have both of them, you're gonna go ski with. You're not balanced. You get me? If you've got self-finance without self-worth, you don't know who you are and your abundance without the material. Then you've got holes and gaps in you that you want to fill up with all these things.
Yeah.
So I think you're dead on the point there. Like I'm hoping that my self-value that I have now and self-love will protect me from being compromised by the power of wealth.
Yeah. I mean, we're in some crazy times right now as well. So even just the thought of money for me personally is just like, you know, I can't even really have that at the forefront. Like, it's kind of funny. I did have a dream though recently that someone gave me loads of money, and I was literally running around with my mouth wide open, just running up and down like I couldn't believe. But it's like, I just feel like the economic system is going to change. So it's like the dependency on money, like I'm kind of not thinking about. I'm more thinking about allowing myself to just be at the right place at the right time, to see how I can avoid this Babylon. Because it's like, if I sit here waiting for money, I feel like I will never leave, you know, because everything takes time, and I just don't want to be in a situation where I can't get out. So if you guys are listening, yeah, this is 2020 and we're in the mix of quarantine / COVID-19 vibes. So for me, you know, seeing how people have lost their businesses, people have lost their jobs, all of that sort of thing, you know, I can just feel that there's a massive, massive shift that is happening, and it's also going to happen in the economic system, and that we're not going to actually have the same exchange of money. It's going to just be all digital. And with that, with things like universal credit, that's then going to be a normal thing that people will have, that then makes more people dependent on the government. And it's just like, I just don't want to be in that space. I just don't want to be in that space.
Trust me. Like, it is all gonna go digital, man. Like, and not like, what is it called? The central bank. Like, the central bank is gonna have no value to it, and it's just all gonna be like private money, basically. It's now's the time to invest in it in digital assets.
It's true. That's the future.
Or gold.
Gold hasn't changed its value, really, has it?
No, man. Like, not at all, man.
Because it's the reason why I'm talking like this is because you know yourself, it's difficult being an artist, and an artist that doesn't like sacrifice their soul to maintain a regular income. It's very difficult to have that.
Nah, trust, like, that was me for time, but now I've fully manifested a life where, like, I've just been manifesting, like, I'm a full-time musician.
Mhm.
And that's what I am now. Like, I've really created that for myself, man. I don't have no time pressures. I just make music.
Mhm.
That's what I do. But it's took me a while to get to this point.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not like a financial thing. All it is the absence of fear and the presence of trust and faith.
Yeah.
That's the
it.
only switch that I had to make.
Mm. Definitely. Definitely. I hear that, man. Because that's what I've always struggled with as well, is like, you know, I was always that person. It's like, no, like, I will perform for free and because it's like, no money can amount to that feeling of performing. Do you get what I mean? Nothing can amount to just being in that space, you know, and hearing other people perform. It just, you know, that's priceless to me. But then, you know, I had to then realise, actually, like, I do deserve, like you were saying earlier, you know, knowing your own worth. Because sometimes we can sell ourselves short and just keep giving things away and then not getting anything back, you know, because like I said before, money is a form of exchange, so energy exchange. So, you know, if you are giving so much energy and you are putting all that time into your performance and then, you know, you should really get something back for it, you know. That's not just travel money, like, you know. And even now, like, it's been really disheartening to see how the arts, like the performing arts and everything, has just like, no one's really been that concerned. Like, there wasn't a lot of money put into it, and it's like outside organizations have had to like kind of come in and like raise money for artists and musicians and all of that sort of thing. And it's just really interesting, because it's like, are we moving now into a time where they don't want us to be so expressive, you know? I don't know how you feel about that.
It's ridiculous because the world, like, runs on art. Do you get me?
Mm-hmm.
Even like Babylon pushes its agendas through art.
Yeah.
But that's why they don't want man to be funded, because if every artist could be funded and have financial freedom, like they used to be in Beethoven's time, if you were an artist, you got funding off the government.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like these man, Beethoven and all them man, they were getting wages to chill and make music, like,
nice.
It was valued, but then they realised that, like, the power of it, and that they can use it to the agenda, so then they stopped funding artists, and then they only fund the ones that they want to push their certain agenda. So everyone else who doesn't follow that agenda is just left. Do you get me? And that's the world we live in now, where if you're an artist of truth, like, that's not profitable, and it doesn't fit the agenda, so you're not being funded. But if you want to sing this song, oh my days, we're gonna give you a car, we're gonna give you an apartment. You get me? Like, like I'm hopeful though for a world again where we will return to, like, I really feel like the people now are really finding their power, and the way that I think maybe because of social media as well, the way that we perceive celebrities now, it's sort of changing. Like, maybe 50 years ago, celebrities were like stars.
Yeah.
It's something on the TV that was in another reality. These powerful, amazing, glowing beings. And now we're sort of like a bit closer to them. And we have our own little celebrities that we, like, they can be someone on social media that you just rate. And they're not bait, but you rate them. That's a little celebrity to you.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
So, like, our relationship to celebrities is very much changing. But what that means, like, for the world is because celebrities are used, like, by Babylon again to push agendas. And now the power that they have, like, we know that we're more powerful as a group than all of these people now. That's why we cancel them. You get me? So, like, the progression of that dynamic, I'm really interested to see where it goes.
I definitely agree with you on that one. definitely agree with you on that one. Because I guess now people are seeing, when it's a situation like this, they're seeing who's who. Like, they're seeing the responses of these people that they follow, and or, you know, the celebrities that they've always backed. They're seeing that actually they haven't got anyone else's best interest at heart, because one, like, they got sponsors, like they got deals, they got contracts with certain peeps, and if they do something, then they're not going to have that. You know, like, for instance, Nick Cannon, he said, I don't know if you heard about it, but he said that he was saying some stuff about Israel, talking about the Zionists, and he was just basically telling the truth, to be honest with you. And then he got sacked. He got sacked from, I think it was NBC or something like that, some show that he had on there, and they just sacked him and saying that he was being anti-Semitic. Yeah. And it's like, but he was literally just speaking the truth and saying historical facts. Like, he wasn't, you know, going out of his way to say he's going to go and with a machete and he's going to... Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like in a vindictive sort of malicious way. It was just like, this is the truth. Right? You know? And he's in a good position, though, because he's already made his wealth, that it doesn't really affect him. You know? It just highlights the fact that, you know, these people are puppets, you know, and only some of them are able to actually speak the truth. And I think maybe him being a father, and he said it himself, really, it's like he's got kids that are watching him. So, you know, that's playing on him. So it's like, I respect that so much, because, you know, it is that time right now. It is that time to realise that whatever we do now is going to affect other generations. It's not just us. You know, so I really respect that. But like other people that are like much higher up, like Jay-Z and those kind of people, like, you know, it's just, they really are like the pawns of the game, you know, because they really have a lot of power, but they just don't ever come with that true essence for the community. It's always well, in my opinion, it always seems quite contrived and always aligned with the narrative of separation, you know? Especially, like, when you have that much influence, like, you could really bring people together. But, you know, they seem to be on a vibe of either ignoring things or just being, like, you know, just pro-black. Without any actual like context of the world that we live in now, and the fact that actually like in America, like we live in a different country, but like obviously the history in America is so horrendous, but it's like at the same time there is just there's not the same sort of division within the communities now because of the integration that has happened. So it's like people are not all racist. Like, do you get what I mean? Not everybody is looking, you know, to continue the division. That it's just pointless, to be honest with you. Well, it's not pointless. We know why it's there, but I mean, it's just, I'm just tired of it, really, to be honest with you. I'm tired of having to kind of fight for a title that was given, and it's not actually who I am. It's like being black is actually not my culture. It's actually being the African descendant who was then in the Caribbean and then being Indian. You know, black, like, what is black? Do you get what I mean? Like, what is it?
Trust me. Let me ask you something.
Oh my God, you're asking me a question.
yeah, we're flipping it. We're turning it.
Okay.
Do you think that there's one race, the human race, like, we're all the same, and like racism is silly, we're all the same? Or do you think, nah, we are not the same?
Well,
what's your stance on that?
If you look into science, you'll see that there are slight differentiations between the different species of human beings that we perceive to be human beings, and that can't be denied. ultimately we're all in this vast universe and everything is everything either way, but there are alterations. And you know, even though I was saying that, you know, we're in this new reality now where people are more open-minded because of the internet. People, you know, have been on these Black Lives Matters, and we're seeing people that maybe 20 years ago would never have been supportive. Do you get what I mean? But like, initially we can't deny the differences as well. Like, that's one thing, is like, yeah, like we are living here and we do need to get on. I don't believe that there is a human race. Like, I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm not running any race. That was, you know, for me, I know that was created by someone who, that same ethos of a race, that's what they were trying to create. And they believed that they, as white people or Caucasian people, or I can't remember the actual terminology of the species that they are.
Caucasoid? Is it Caucasoid?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that you know, I can't remember what I was gonna say now. What I was gonna say? Oh yeah, that we can't deny that there are the differences, and you know, as people that are highly melanated, we are more human. Because we are hue as in light, and we can draw the energy of the life force that is the sun more so than those that have less melanin. So for me, that's like a superpower, and that's, you know, pretty much one of the reasons why we've been lied to for however long that we've been lied to. Because if we knew how powerful we were, then they wouldn't be able to do what they do, because we would be able to actually be fully functional human beings. And unfortunately, we're not in that state right now. We're not in that state because we don't really know that. And plus, we're undernourished, you know, because we don't get, especially in England, we don't get enough sun. We don't get enough sun. So it's like, it's like we literally have that little time in summer where we can like kind of regenerate ourselves with the sunlight, and then we're just in darkness for the rest of the year. And then, you know, how can we really be ourselves, you know? How can we really function? You know, we've got people out here taking vitamin D tablets and stuff, and we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing that, you know? So I don't know if I kind of answered that question or not. I kind of added a few extra things in there.
Oh,
but
you did.
Well, what do you think then? Flip it back round.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm fully certain that it's like there's different beings on the earth. Do you get me? Like, we have a shared experience, but we also are different on a biological level. Like, definitely. Like, but also, like, what got me into that was like looking at nature, and all of the colors in nature are not accident. It's not like, oh yeah, that leaf's green, that berry's red, that tiger is orange and black. Like, nah. There's reasons for everything. You get me? The lion is the same color as the savannah. You get me? It's not an accident. I'm not this color by accident. It's not like just a paint job. It's not. People talk about it like it's just a color. Like, you know, even black people are out there saying like, just because I'm a different color, but I feel like that's just. It's way more than that. Like, it's not color. It's not about color. Like, I feel like color is distraction from what it is actually about. But like, I know that like I was manifested like this because of the details of me before I was in the physical realm. I didn't just manifest this color by accident. You get me?
Yeah.
That's not in my experience. That's not the way the world works in my world. You get me? Like you're talking about earlier about manifesting exactly what you want. So in the same breath, like that works for people also. You know. And then again, like you were saying about the light and how like the color and the hue of color like determines the communication with light. Like again, you know, everything in the universe that exists is forms of light. So like your experience of every single thing possible is different. You get me? So your experience is different, your processing is different, your inspiration is different, your thoughts are different, your feelings are different, you give out different energy. Like, it's different, man. It's a different system, 2 different systems.
Mm-hmm.
But they are interchangeable. Like, we share the same amount of chromosomes in it, so we can breed together. So we share that. But I do imagine a world where like we couldn't breed together. Imagine that. That'd be mad.
Some people might not even need to breathe. If some of the conspiracies are right. What do you say?
I was saying breed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But some people might not actually breathe. Like, as in, you know, some conspiracy theorist. They say that, you know, the elite people are not actually human. That they're reptilian.
Oh, fam. Well,
so they might not need to breathe like how we breathe. So maybe it's okay for them to put a mask on their face because that's not how they breathe.
Nah, trust me.
It's okay for me to speak like this actually on the podcast because it's not going on any of those platforms. So like, I can say this.
Nah, trust interterrestrials, innit? Interterrestrials.
It's been going on for a very long time. You know, they say that in ancient Kemet, that's what happened, is that they were doing some sort of alchemy and then they drew in this energy and then they came in and then overtook us, overtook the real people of the earth. And then since then it's just been constant war and destruction, and because they're not of this earth, so they don't know what harmony is, or they don't know how to be in harmony with the earth, you know, because they want to dominate it, they want to own it, because it's not theirs, whereas it's ours. So we don't, you know, if you look at the native people, they're not out here trying to, you know, claim the land. They just are part of the land, you know. They actually nurture what has been given there to them. For them to even exist, because without Mother Nature, none of us would exist. But clearly these people that are the mysterious ones, let's just say, they don't give a shit.
Nah, trust. Honestly, I've been doing a lot of spiritual work here in England in the forest, and I've been really connecting to the spirits of this land, which before. There's not much facility or like roots to connect with the spirit of this land because it's been lost. I've learned like the lost culture of UK, and it's taught me about, like, when we talk about like the colonizers and white people, like in my head before, like English people were like, I was thinking about them in my mind as being like one of the main people in it and that. But now I've actually realised now that it's the Latin thing.
Done, Sticky. This is why I love you.
Obviously, everyone knows they went to Egypt, learned bish, bash and bosh. But I've learned that there's an original culture called which is the original culture of Britain. And it has its own alphabet, and it has a zodiacal sign which includes all the native trees of the UK, and that people were living in tribes. There was like 4 or 5 different tribes living similar to how Native Americans, how we picture them living in the different tribes. It was like that here as well. And then the Latins learned ABC from Egypt. And then they colonized all of Europe, took away all of the native spiritual connections, and taught them this new language, pushed on Christianity. Like, they done that in all of Europe. And then after that, they done the black thing. But then we look back and we're just like, yeah, like Europeans, whites, but nah, it's not all of them. They were compromised earlier.
It's true. It's the Roman Empire.
Them man are on some.
The Roman Empire's never fallen. It's still here. It's still here, and that's why all of these revelations are coming out, and you know the things that we're hearing about, you know, the child trafficking and all of that sort of stuff. It's all interconnected to ancient, like ritualistic things that they would do within the churches, and their ideals that they had as Romans, that the men were supreme, the the patriarchal, you know, ideology came from them, and that women were less. You know, like how they used to obsess over themselves, you know, in the spas. They had like, you know, all these structures of penises and all of this shit. Like, you know, that's, I don't know what it is. It's the ego. That's what I can think that it is, because, you know, you wouldn't exist without having your counterpart. You wouldn't exist without a woman, you know, and it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think they was just feeling themselves a bit too much. And now, like, they're gonna go and get turned down, you know what I mean? Because this shit been going on for too long now. It's been going on for too long, and I think people are tired now. People have had enough. You know what I mean?
I trust.
Sometimes
I think I read about this, and sometimes I do look back at it and think, could be the one. But like these reptilians or whatever, you know, whatever it or whoever it is. That they actually created the white race. Like, they actually created them using, like, a black woman.
Okay.
Because the white gene is a degenerate of the black gene.
It's true, yeah.
It comes from it. So, and because this is a created, like, in theory, a created species by
Sorry.
like, not by the source. They're created to push agendas, like to push inter or out extraterrestrial agendas. So, like, actually, it's the white people who are the slaves, because, like, their minds are it's easier for agendas to be pushed through them. Like.
Okay. But why? Because they're further removed from black people. Or African people.
Because like, so the original people are, let's say, they're rooted in it. So the fresh people are not rooted.
Okay.
So you can give them, they're derooted, so you can give them new philosophies and ideologies to push certain agendas. And, like, have you experienced where the oppressor becomes the oppressed becomes the oppressor?
Yeah.
That's exactly what white people did to black people. They derooted them and then filled them with new things to fulfill an agenda. And, like, they learned that. Do you get me? That's because that's what happened to them. Like the slave trade, yeah, is just a metaphor for life, man.
Really? Why do you think that?
Like, I look at the slave trade to learn about life now.
Okay.
Like, so what one thing that got me into that is Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
And one of the things she said was, like, I could have freed more slaves if they knew they were slaves.
Ooh.
So let's just deep that, though. Like, she was pulling up on the plantation, yeah. She was saying, Chantel, listen to me. What you're living in, it's a prison. This is not life. Like, there's so much more to life. We can go and be free somewhere else. This is not life. You've been lied to. This is all just a crazy thing. It's about money. You're a slave to this system. And them, they're looking at her going, what? What are you on about? Like, I'm on good behaviour. Like, on Saturday, I get to see my son. It's cool. Like, I just got the extra cow foot.
Yeah,
what are you on about? You're crazy.
Cow foot, you know. Yeah.
You're crazy. Like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist like that. Or some other guy was talking about that madness, and she's not. Nah, listen to me. Do you get me? Could we not have the conversation right now?
Exactly. And we get the same response. Well, we are getting the same response. You know, how people look at you when you ain't wearing a mask. It says it all, really.
Oh, my days.
It says it all. Especially the people that got everything. They've got the gloves on, they've got the mask, got everything. And then they're the ones that will come so close to you as well. And you're like, but hold on. You know what I mean? That make no sense at all. But yeah. it's difficult. It is difficult because even with that that experience or that happening back then, you know, it's difficult because people have been programmed. You know, the slaves were programmed to think that that was their reality. Like, that's how it's meant to be, that they were not able to have anything more than what they were living in. Do you get what I mean? It's hard for a lot of people to have an imagination, to believe besides of what they see, like to see beyond what is in front of them. Do you get what I mean? And we still have that sort of conditioning now, unfortunately. But I think, you know, what's happened in this whole generation is that we have we've been dumbed down from the time that it was the 60s, when people were starting to open up their minds, starting to explore different psychedelics and to open up their heart space. You know, it's like, since then, it's like, you know, the CIA and all of those kind of people, they were like, no, we can't have this. And then started to work out ways that they could prevent anyone becoming someone like Malcolm X, or anyone to be a threat, basically, to the government. Because, you know, people don't realise how powerful your voice is. Do you get what I mean? Like, the voice is one of the most, like we said, sound, like, was the first thing of the universe. You get what I mean? Like, so, like, the sound that you can make, you know, like when, you know, Malcolm X was doing all of his, you know, speeches and going to all different places, opening up different mosques and all that, people were so inspired just to hear him speak. Do you get what I mean? And then when Martin Luther King, you know, when he did his famous speech and he had all of those people there, that was just because of his voice. There's nothing else. They wanted to hear it themselves, and then that amplifier, you know. And I think that's kind of where we're at now. Like, they don't want people to have a voice because they know how powerful that it can be. And it's like going back again to the music thing. The reason why they control that, because they know that artists are the ones that are truly authentic. They're authentic people. It's difficult for artists to conform. I mean, real artists, not performers, not people that just want fame. That's a whole different thing. But real artists, people that actually illustrate pieces of their life through whatever form of art that they do. Do you get what I mean? That's a true artist. But, you know, I think that's where we're at, man. It's like they have planted these seeds for such a long time that people are afraid to do something different and to create the world that they want to live in, you know. And instead of detaching away from what is controlled by them, you know, when I say that, I mean the internet, we use it because everyone wants to feel like their voice is heard. Do you get what I mean? So people want to be on there, people want to say whatever, but actually it's not good that we're on there because they're clocking everything we're doing. They literally have like you know, like back in the day where we would do like a diagram thing, like you got one thing in the middle. I forgot what it's called because I think they had to change it because they said it was offensive. A brainstorm. Is that's basically, everyone's got like a brainstorm around everyone. So it's like you in the middle, and then they have everything connected to you. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, for us to truly be free, like, we shouldn't have any of those things connected to us. Do you get what I mean? Because it's like those things then become algorithms. Those algorithms then become manipulative to one's mind. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's a very exciting time to be alive, and I just feel very grateful that I chose to be here at this time, and it's just a pleasure to see it unfold, because this is something that, you know, I don't think you or me ever thought that we would experience.
Trust me, like you said before, it's an exciting time, and the world's going through a deep change, and I'm so grateful to be one of the people around to see this and create using this fuel. Like, what a blessing, man. What a blessing. Like, people will, like, we're living through a deeply historical moment, you know. And I believe essentially life is about experience.
Yeah.
So we're getting a very intense ride. With very intense flavors. Some are sweeter, some are sour.
Yep.
That's all nutrition.
Oh, it's all nutrition. You better say it again. That's it, man. That's the existence that we live in. Is always going to be a polar to everything. It's never going to be one which way. And I guess we're just kind of balancing things out. And you're someone who gets the fact that life is something to experience, and you've actually ventured out and traveled on your own. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that, because I find it really inspirational that you did what you did, going to Brazil. And I'd love to just hear some details about your experience out there and what that did for you.
Wow. Well, Brazil truly did change my life in many, many, many ways. First, the energy of Brazil is a completely different energy to England. Brazil is the land of abundance and medicine. That's my synopsis anyway.
Yeah.
But for example, food is abundant in Brazil. There's just lots of food everywhere. No, people aren't hungry. People are not hungry, man. And there is lots of medicine everywhere as well. And that comes from the land, yeah. And I really learned how land affects culture. And that in England, it's colder. People are colder.
Yep.
But in England, we have a lot more water. Water is money. Money is water. They go together. In the breath of, if you have waters and rivers, and a lot of them like we do in England, that's ports, that's import, that's export, that's money. Also, all of our money in the world, our whole banking system is all based on water. Like, we have banks, so that's also a water reference. River banks. We have currency. We have currents.
Yo, Sticky, why you just baited up the whole thing to me? It was that bait in my face and I never even clocked. Wow.
It goes deep. It goes deep. Trust me. And I learned that how land affects culture. And that culture literally evolves from the land, and your culture is subject to the land in which it was birthed. So I really understood and made peace with a lot of cultures in the world, because they are subject to the land, which essentially is subject to Jah, subject to God. So I made peace with all the cultures in the world when I was in Brazil.
Wow.
And also learned another language, which, I've always wanted to learn another language, but I kind of thought, I wish I knew when I was a kid. But I'm telling you, it's never too late to learn, and the act of learning is a beautiful thing. Well, being active in learning, because I look at learning in the same way I look at manifesting, and that learning/manifesting, it's not something that you do, it's something that happens. You can either be active or passive.
Either way's gonna happen. Either way's gonna happen. Yeah.
You are manifesting. It's not about you are manifesting. That is what you do. You are learning. That is what you do. That you can't help that. You can't do nothing about that. But you can be active. So learning a language was active learning every day. And active learning every day just lights up your soul. And then learning other words and other ways to digest reality opened my mind, When I start speaking in Portuguese, it's a parallel universe, Everything's just a different shade now.
Wow.
Everything's a different hue. You know, green is just a bit different now.
Mm.
And I really learned that words, like saying thank you in one word, in one language, sorry, it's not a translation of thank you when you say it in another language. It's a different word. You get me?
Well,
Like
because the word has a different vibration that it sends out.
100%.
Okay.
Like you can't say thank you in another language. You can say whatever word they use to express gratitude, but like it's different. When speaking that language, you're creating different life. So when I was in Brazil, the combination of these things, I lived a different life. I lived a different life. It was like I had a new injection into earth, you know. But I was still me. It was my body, but it was a completely different parallel thing. And being alone, I really recommend traveling alone. I know that you're standing for that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, like, when it's only you and your heart, like, I just really developed a relationship with my heart.
Oh, you just gave me goosebumps. Yeah.
Trust me, like self-intimacy. And I learned that. I learned something that is inspired. It's, you know, when you know some things you learn in life inspire the rest of your life, you know. And one of them things for me is that your heart is an instrument through which you filter what you find.
Ooh, yes.
And what that means is that what vibe your heart is, it's beating in it. It's a pulse. It's a drum. You know what I'm saying? It's a drum.
It is a drum.
It's a drum. It's drumming. And that rhythm that you're playing creates your world.
Yes.
And if you attune the rhythm of your heart to your soul, to who you are, which is basically be yourself. Like, that's the easiest way to say it, but it's one of the hardest things to do. But when you truly be yourself and you're vibrating your truth, you're vibrating the song of you, your rhythm, yo, abundance arrives at you because you are putting out the essence of who you are. So that's what you receive without any effort. And I really connected to that, and through that dynamic, I was able to move without fear.
Yeah. Because it's knowing that you have that frequency within you, that even though you're alone and you're on the other side of the world, you just know that you're going to align with those on that same frequency. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's like, for me, when I started my traveling on my own and that, literally, that's all that would happen to me. I would just always align with the right kinds of people that would take me to the right place or direct me to the right place. And I never felt that I was on my own, ever, literally. And I was just like, wow, like, especially as a black woman, like, I was always a bit apprehensive about traveling on my own. But I was like, you know, I'm going to still do it because I want to show people, you know, a true representation of who I am, and not just what they may perceive black women to be. And, you know, I've met people from all over the world because I stepped out on my own, you know, and I wouldn't change that for the world, you know.
Now, respect for that, you know, respect, yeah, like you're saying, being a black woman, like, that's courage, man. Where did you go?
Well, I started my first solo travel. I went to Paris, so it was nothing like major, but for me it was a big deal. And yeah, like, I just, from the time I went on to the Eurostar, I sat next to this woman who, she was a Christian, it turned out, but she was just like an angel, because she was just so informative. She was so passionate about similar things that I was passionate about. And, like, literally, we arrived in Paris and we didn't even realise, like, that, like, we were just, you know, and she brought me, like, this little cake. She went to get something and she got me a little cake. and she was saying that she was going to a cathedral in Paris and stuff like that, and then she managed to help me to find my hostel and that, because she could speak French. And I was just like, imagine that. Like, just literally the woman I sat next to. But it always happens. It's like anytime I just step into the airport, it just begins from then. Like, just all these, like, synchronicities. And, you know, I haven't gone solo for a minute, but I am looking to do that. But, you know, like I said before, like, I just have this thing inside that, like, if I leave, I'm not going to come back. Like, and so wherever I go, I have to make sure that it's somewhere that I would be comfortable in rediscovering myself and creating the world that I want to live in, you know, and create the home. But there's a lot of things going on at the moment. There's a lot of talks going on with a lot of people, so I'm not going to make any rash decisions yet. But, you know, Brazil as well has always been like something that I've had an affinity with. I just always felt that I can connect to the culture and the music and the people and the energy, and I've just always had this thing about I have to go Brazil. But like with certain things that are going on over there, it makes me feel like maybe I shouldn't go there, you know, because I don't want to leave one thing to go to another thing. But then because the land is so vast, it doesn't mean that I would have... Yeah, like, it doesn't mean that I would have to be in a space where I could you know, get caught up in the Western ideologies again. I just want to be away from it, Sticky. When I saw that video of you in the forest, I was just like, that made me so happy, because I'm like, yeah, it just made me feel like you was building the house that everyone were all there cooking the food and you're there getting the stuff. Like, literally, my brain was off on a little dream. Because that's how I want to live, you know.
Trust me, well, I'll tell you right now that you can go to Brazil, and Brazil is... I done a 4-day boat journey, 24-hour drive, then a 5-hour plane, and I was still in Brazil.
What?
Like the Brazilian government, which we experience all the way from Europe, is so far from any experience that I had in Brazil, you know?
Really?
Like here, like, we're so close to Parliament right now. You're even closer than me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still close to it. That energy that's vibrating from there, we're close. In Brazil, that's not part of your life. Like, there's places in Brazil where, like, the politics, it has no effect on. Like, you can go to Brazil and like, you could hide in Brazil and no one would ever find you, ever. Do you get me?
Basically, that's what I was trying to say. I want to go somewhere where no one will find me, okay?
Yeah, you can literally, like, just go in Brazil and just completely just... Even they don't even use computers that much. Like, it's everything's just written down. Do you get me? You can just...
Why would you need to use the computer that much when you have such beautiful land and you have so much to just explore and you know, why would you be wanting some fake false light going into your eyes instead of getting the real sun to, like, you know? I wouldn't have time for that.
Well, I'm gonna be getting a yard there in the near future, so you're obviously completely welcome to use it anytime you want.
Oh my God, 100% give thanks. Give thanks, man, because I'm going to take you up on that offer.
No, for real, like definitely 100%, man, 100%, like.
I feel like it.
Because obviously I'm having that youth in it.
Whoa. What do you mean? You're having that ute in it?
I'm having my baby boy.
Oh, congratulations! You found out the gender.
Yeah.
Oh my God, a little Sticky. Oh.
It's a madness, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Little Brazilian prince.
Oh my, whoa. So the baby mama's out there.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm getting a yard there.
Lord have mercy, man, not playing a game when you get the womb goodie. Okay. Man, not playing the game. Hey, listen, congratulations, man. Yo, it makes sense. That's why you're going out there. You see that there? Taking responsibility. You know what I mean? That right there is taking responsibility.
Got to, man. Baby's going to be born at the end of October, so I'm just
Oh my God, it's gonna be Scorpio like me.
Scorpio. That's what I'm saying, Scorpio. Like,
Oh my God.
so I'm just doing my thing now, like making money and to go towards the trip and to be with my son, see him enter the world, give him me love and just bond with him as much as I can.
Wow. Have you thought of any names? Have you both been thinking about names?
Yeah, no, we've got a name still. The name was mainly her idea, and it grew on me. It grew on me. She was like, "We're just gonna give him this name for now, and then I think that's what it is, unless she changes her mind." But yeah, Kenai.
Say it again.
Kenai.
Ooh, what does that mean?
So it's Khenai.
Oh.
It's an indigenous name from there, innit?
Wow.
And it means black bear.
Wow. Oh, what a lovely name. Wow. Oh, man.
I can't wait to meet my man, la.
Your creation, man. Your creation.
It's changed me as a human so much. It's not even here yet, but like I'm so emotional all the time, and like I was deep in it. Like, I see myself. We're gods on the earth. I'm a planet out here.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a planet out here, and I'm like, I've created another planet, like a whole other planet, like with bare other little beings that live on him, all his little cells and that, which he's birthing, which he's God of, and he's birthing them with their purposes, carry oxygen to the heart, like, and they have their families and colonies. Like, it's a whole other planet, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's divine timing, man. Divine timing, because from what you were saying, that Brazil evoked within you, to create that parallel part of yourself. Like, you were bound to create life because you found a different part of life. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, 100%. And going back to the manifesting thing, about being exact with your manifestations, before Brazil, that year before Brazil, every morning after I meditated, one of my manifestations was I create life on the equator.
Ooh.
That's what I was manifesting. And like, but in my mind, I was like, like a life for myself, like boom, like a little yard, like I don't know what, that type of thing. But like the universe again, like, being the universe that it is, boom.
That's
Life.
it.
There you go.
You got to be a bit more specific and a bit more detailed with what you actually want. Yeah, that was a bit too out there and a bit more like, it makes sense. It makes sense why you're saying about the different planets that you've created, or the different planet that you've created now, because that's what you bloody manifesting. That's what you done.
Madness. Yeah, I need to get myself some Brazilian sort of identity thing so I can stay there like a long time. Do you get me?
Yeah, definitely. Like, have you been looking into it?
Yeah, but it's difficult. The Brazilian like government websites are like they look like they're on Windows Vista and that, like.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just gonna go there, and then when I sign for the kid, and when I put my name on all the documents, I'm gonna ask them people basically then. And then I gotta get my man dual nationality and that.
Smart man. Yep. Indeed.
Sometimes I can't even believe it, Like when I'm saying it, I'm like, wow. Like my life is vibrant, lah.
It's only you've barely even know what's about to happen to you, mate. I'm telling you. You know, but I just think that you're gonna be such an incredible father. Because you're someone who has so much excitement for life. You're someone who is able to navigate in this existence without allowing it to hinder you in any way. Do you get what I mean? And to have someone like that as your parent is something that, your son is going to admire you for. Like, he's going to really, you know, get what this life's about. It's about being curious. It's about learning. It's about exploring. It's not about being limited. And the way that I see you is as a person who's realised that life is an endless possibility, and you live that, you know. So I just feel like, you know, being a father is just going to bring out so much more that you already have in you. And I don't know, I just think it's just going to be something that is going to really change your life for the better, you know.
Wow. Thank you for your words, man. Like, yeah, that's medicinal for me to hear that, to be honest. I appreciate that, man.
But, you know, it is scary, and it's okay to be scared. It's okay to mourn the life that you've been living. It's okay to let go of what you thought it was going to be, you know, because it wasn't something that you planned. Do you get what I mean? You were kind of manifesting it, but you didn't realise that, you know, you needed to be a bit more specific, but do you get what I mean? So it's okay. But, you know, once little man's here, there ain't gonna be no more fear, you know, because you're gonna realise why he came. You know?
I can't wait. Oh. Auntie Chantal, you know.
Trust that, man. When I come over, try a thing, man. Definitely. This has been such a lovely conversation. We haven't spoken like this in like times. I think we haven't spoken like this since the time we actually saw each other, which was like, what, 2 years ago?
Oh my days, wasn't it? Wow. Wow, it's a pleasure to grow next to you, man.
So it's a pleasure to have met you, you know. Absolute pleasure. The world that we met in, it you know, no one will ever remember. Like, no one will ever be able to understand that space that we were in. You know, like, it feels like that world that we were in. It seems like a dream, to be honest with you.
It's mad now. It's quite surreal now that you're saying it. Like, it just seemed like a different world.
Absolutely different world. And now it really is a different world now, because, you know, will we ever be able to have music events like that again? You know, will we ever be able to be so close to someone that literally they might as well just be on top of you? Do you get what I mean? Like, the sweat, it just everyone's got the same sweat. Like, is that ever going to happen again? Do you think this this social distancing thing is going to be a permanent sort of thing, or do you think it's just going to be for the duration of this pandemic?
Oh man, I would say, I just want to put out there to myself, to you, and to the universe, that not in my world, no. In my world, we're gonna be human. But I think that the agendas that are getting pushed, it could be something that echoes for a long time, I think, in the general population. But I'm doing everything in my power to to be human again, man. Like, these masks and that, like, I'm not about the mask thing. I feel like it's a muzzle, man. It's like, yeah, shut up.
Yeah, 100.
Nah, man, I'm not about it at all. And astrologically, like, the time in the sky right now, it's time for revolution. It's time for the people in power to be overthrown and truth to come out, and for people to rise. Like, that's what time it is in the sky, and it's just happens to be the same time that we get, like, put on lockdown. And because
they know it, though. That's the thing, Sticky. They know that's what time it is. So because they think that they are above God, that's why they're trying their utmost to prevent us from being close to each other. Because we know, as you know, as music, you know, how frequencies pass on and all of that sort of stuff. So if people are becoming more genetically human, and their DNA is being upgraded, and, you know, the planets are actually assisting that evolution within us, you know, they're gonna try at the most that they are to stop us from being connected. Because once we realise, actually, you know, there's something going on here, like da 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 da, and then we come together, they will not be able to sustain their control anymore. Because the only reason why these people have control, in my opinion, is because we believe it. We believe what it's like. If you give something your thought of belief, then therefore it is real and it can affect you. But if you don't believe it, it doesn't have any existence in your reality, because we are the creators of our own reality, you know. And I guess that's what it is. You know, we just got to get back to that. Like you're saying, is like you're just focusing on being a human and making sure that you're going to be in a place where you can be around love and be around your child, and that's all that really matters, to be honest with you. You know, all of these things that we've been programmed to think that makes us successful, or, you know, that's what gives you a good life. Like, I don't think that gives you a good life. Like, I think the fact that I have to go to a supermarket to buy food, that's not me living my best life. That's me just being codependent. But if I could have my own place where I can grow my own stuff, and I can, you know, learn about the things I'm eating and actually put the energy into it and consume that, and just, you know, that's true living. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's me being able to be a woman. Because, you know, women are meant to be, you know, the ones that know about the earth, that know about the herbs, you know what I mean? And it's like, in this day and age, what do us lot know? We know to what? Go on the OnlyFans page and just shake our asses. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, where's the divinity? You know, I don't think in this Western world that there's any appreciation of anyone's divinity, you know, because it's just consume, destroy, die, you know, be unhappy, and all of this. I would like to know what you think, actually, about mental health. What was your take on mental health and the emphasis that has been put out there in recent times about one's mental health?
I would say that there's okay, the recent movement of mental health, there's places where I stand for it and I'm like, yeah, and then there's places where I'm like, hold on. And, you know, the places where I stand with it, I'm like, okay, awareness, like, we can talk about it now. We can fully talk about it.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful, and that has healed me so much as a man. Like, deep healing. And I'm so happy that people are becoming more comfortable with their darker sides. But I would say that fundamentally, to me, God and devil, or the energy of God, or the divine light and the divine darkness, are one in the same. They are not separate, and it's not something that we should try to remove ourselves from the darkness, because we are gods on the earth, meaning we are creators and destroyers, and we must do both. We must do both. That's who we are. We are not, like, the belief that we are, like, we only do right, like, is, I think it's the road to confusion. But and also, I think that we just have to be careful that we don't create identities from having bad mental health, because I'm seeing online, like I see people grouping together and healing, and that's beautiful, but then there's another side of people grouping together and just, like, identifying with being, oh, you have bad mental health, so do I. And, like, that creates identity and it solidifies it. When in my belief, like, you know, you are not your thoughts, and that you shouldn't identify with any of them. And that to say you have bad mental health is making it concrete. It's making it something that still, I have bad mental health, when it's something that's alive and it's flexible. It moves. It's moving. You can't have bad mental health. You can experience a passing low mental state, but you can't have it. You can't have it. It's not yours. It's not you. It's not you. It is not you. So like I said, that the awareness is beautiful, and I'm so grateful that it's been available for me also. But yeah, I just don't want people to identify with it too much. And to also acknowledge that, like, mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, and physical health are not separate. They are not separate. They are completely connected.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to improve your mental health, you should look at all the areas of your health, and
Absolutely.
you should also look at your, what I call, multi-sensory diet. You get me?
Explain
your
that.
intake through your mouth, your ears, your nose, your eyes, your touch, your proximity, your multi-sensory diet, like yeah.
I definitely hear you on that, 100%. And you know, the reason I brought that up is because of current events with Kanye West and him being branded as having bipolar, and how, you know, people perceive his expressions and all of that sort of stuff. And you know, I just feel, I agree with what you're saying about, you know, this whole emphasis, even though it's been really positive and allowing people to share those experiences, to not feel like, you know, they're alone in that. But it's also, like you said, it's like, it's making people attach to that and identifies that, and then thinking that that's how it's going to be forever. Because for me, I feel like the Western world, it operates on the mind and not on the heart or the gut. Like, it doesn't, there's no actual alignment to this thing, and it's so much more easier for them to program us to be that way, because that's the way they can manipulate us, is through the mind. But you can't manipulate one's heart. You know what I mean? That frequency there, even when you lie to yourself, like I've lied to myself before, and be like, I don't feel how I feel about so-and-so, or whatever, but my heart's telling me, nah. You know what I mean? And then any kind of madness would happen, and then basically that person, you know what I mean? The heart brought that person back again, because the heart don't lie. We lie to ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just think, yeah, I just thought I'd like ask you your opinion on that and just kind of bring that up, because I personally have always been a fan of Kanye, and you know, obviously when he got with Kim Kardashian, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, and kind of pulled away. And I did see him a few times live, and you know, he had his rants that they call, but I just see it as him just expressing himself, you know, and you know, he wasn't chatting shit. This is the thing. He was actually exposing a lot of stuff, and you know, I thought, you know, hats off for saying this to us, you know, because we're the ones that are giving you our money. So if you're here to inform us about things, I actually respect you, because you don't need to do that. And then, you know, him having that breakdown and all of that stuff, and then coming out with blonde hair, and you know, I just feel like it's unfortunate that he's been caught up and been branded as bipolar, because he's actually, you know, a black man, you know, regardless of his ego. We all know he's got a massive fucking ego, but it's like, regardless of that, a man who is actually like created his reality, has worked so hard to believe, when everyone, you know what I mean, to believe in his dream, and to make it happen, and to then want to expand like any human being would. You know, you if you do one level in a game, you want to go to the next level. You don't want to just stay in that one dead level and you just keep playing the same boss all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? So then for him to then actually fully try and, like, in a way, kind of blossom out like a flower, they kind of just, no, you can't do that. So it's like just seeing that, you know, even with all of that kind of fame and everything, it's like black men are still treated like nothing. Do you get what I'm saying? Even though in a way he kind of went along with the whole narrative, being with someone like Kim, it's like he still can never, you know, actually be, you know, what he wants to be. And it just kind of reflects back down to us, because it's like, okay, cool, because he's a reflection of us. So it's just showing us that, okay, we can never actually be participating in those systems because they weren't made for us. Even if we make them loads of money, they're still not going to play ball, you know? I just think it's really sad at the moment. I mean, it's not something that, you know, that we really should be focusing on because, you know, like we were talking about before, these are celebrities, you know, we shouldn't be idolising these people. But, you know, when I see a man who has not got the right support and is just a person who is emotional, because he's got Cancer Moon, so he's an emotional man. Do you get what I mean? And then for people to be laughing at him and all of that sort of stuff, it's just like, how are we ever going to progress as people if we always want to blame the white people for this and that, but then we don't see the own things that we do in our own community and how we treat people? Because you know, there's not enough emphasis, and you would probably agree, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it, but there's not enough emphasis for men to express their emotions. You know?
No, it's true, man. I do feel some sadness as well with you, like, you know, about Kanye, because, and like, College Dropout, like that album. I feel like Kanye was he was a warrior, man. He was a warrior on our side, like.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's gone on. I do not know what's gone on. But, like, the circles that he's in, the circles that he's mixing with, I think where his success and power has took him, combined with what's happening right now in the world, what truths are surfacing, and what's happening to black people. Like, black people are rising, and I think he's experiencing some, like, mad emotions that are sending him in contradictory directions, and it's causing him to, like, be uncertain about, like, who he is and how he relates to things. Like, yeah, that's all I can really say, because I don't know enough about his personal situation, but I do pray that he finds the ground again, you know.
Definitely, 100%. You know, and it's unfortunate when, you know, someone does become that much in the public eye, because, you know, we've seen it throughout our lives. You know, we see everything that they go through, and it's like when they're going through such turmoil, you know, it shouldn't even be really accessible like that. We shouldn't really be able to even critique his experience like that, you know. It's like that in a way, fame makes you have to lose your humanity, you know, because you're put on a pedestal.
Trust me, and, like, swear these people who are mad successful and mad powerful and mad influential, like, Babylon or the powers that shouldn't be, they have you in their pockets because they can pin anything on you. They can blackmail you. They say, do this, or we'll tell everyone that you're a paedophile. And then you're cancelled. Like, that's a thing. Like, that's a thing. Like we were talking about celebrities earlier. They used, you know, like, do this dance, or we'll put down your pants. So, like, being a celebrity is hard, man, especially in America, especially being black, with that much power and influence, because it's so difficult to like, retain your personal integrity, as opposing with the integrity that you're seen as. Like, you have to, like, compromise your own integrity to maintain the integrity of how you're seen by your people. And that is difficult thing to balance. Like, my heart goes out.
Yeah, man, definitely. Same here, man. Same here. But yeah, like, this has been such a great conversation, and I feel like I should end it here, because, you know, I think I could talk to you all day long, really, to be honest. And I feel like we've got some really good content in this podcast, and, yeah, I just want to thank you so much for joining me on Conversations Need to Be Had. And I wish you so much abundance and joy in your fatherhood. And I pray to God that you will be able to get out there safely, and there will be no confusions, nothing in the way, that you will be able to fly over and begin this new venture, this new thing that is phenomenal. I feel like, you know, becoming a parent is the greatest experience that any of us will ever have, you know. So yeah, I'm really excited for you, and also excited for New Tribe. And I really hope that, you know, festival season will happen, because you guys are sick and people need to hear that music. They need to feel them vibes, you know what I mean? People need to be part of the tribe. They need to know. Do you get what I mean? So let's just hope that God allows those things to happen. And I'm going to say thank you. And yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, man. You're so welcome, and it's honestly my pleasure to be on here with you, and like, one, to have a space for me to just, you know, let me words out, you know, exercise me throat. Like, it's medicinal to be able to speak freely, and even though this is like a sort of a public space that we're speaking, you really allowed me to, like, just be completely honest and relaxed, which I really value. It's not every moment with every person that you feel that way. So I thank you for that, and for your words about me fatherhood and my son. Like, I really appreciate them words. And yeah, man, I truly love you, and it's like I said before, it's a pleasure to live life with you.
Bless you.
And grow together. And I really look forward to seeing how you develop and grow into the queen that you already are, but you know, as you extend your queendom.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much, man. I feel the same about you.
It's beautiful to watch, man. Like, it's beautiful to watch you. So please, like, on behalf of the world, continue to share what you have, because we need you.
Oh my God, Sticky, stop it! Oh my God.
No, for real, man. For real, we really need you out here. Like, I'm proud and grateful that you are accepting your responsibility.
Oh, Sticky said the thing again. Exactly, that's what it is. I've had to accept the responsibility. Exactly that, because you run away sometimes from them things there, you know. But yeah, we've all been given a purpose, and I know what my purpose is, so I have to just, like you were saying earlier about, you know, being kind of fearless with it, you know, and having that kind of faith. That's how I am right now, and realising that my purpose is beyond myself. My purpose is not, oh yeah, like just fame, or I just want to do music. Like, I'm here to liberate the people, and I'm here to usher in this new world, because I have the voice that I have the confidence I have, and all of those sort of things. Like, I was born for this moment in time, and whatever comes out of it, it is what it is. Like, that's why I came here, and I'm not limited to the fact that I've been called a woman or whatever, because in my past life I was a king. Do you get what I mean? I was a man. So I'm not afraid of what these people are going to try to do, because what I'm going to create and what I've already done is a domino effect. So I've planted seeds, and once that seed starts its process, there's no way that they can stop it. So yeah, man, thank you so much for recognising that, because it ain't easy, but those little words there, it just keeps me going.
Yeah, man, it's love. It's love.
Hello, I'm Chantel Gabriella Jazz, and you've just been listening to Conversations Need to Be Had. And if if you like that episode, then please like this video and share it far and wide so people know what time it is, and so we can help elevate the human consciousness to a higher level and having these really important conversations. If you would like to engage with us on social media, then feel free. We are on Twitter, Need to Be Had. We are also on Instagram, C.N.T.B.H. I just like them dots. I had to fill the dots. But anyway, or if you would like to engage with us through email because maybe you want to contribute or maybe you would like to feature on this podcast, who knows, then please email us at needtobehad@gmail.com. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to this episode, and stay tuned as we have so much more content to give you. Peace.